Before we get into this episode, I want to do a quick story time. I planned a girls trip and we had a few girls and we all planned a few excursions and stuff and discussed the price and it's fine. And we get to the trip and one of the chicks was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do that excursion and I'm not going to do this excursion. And finally, I'm like realizing that the reason that she doesn't want to do the excursions is because she doesn't want to pay for the excursion. So like here we are, all of us and all of our kids doing the excursions and her kid's like, oh no, we're not going to go and do that. We're not going to go and do that. Like, when is it okay to be like, look, you shouldn't have come on the trip? Or do you just cover them and then not invite them to go again? I want to tell you how this played out, but you're going to have to watch this episode and we'll come back to this at the end. And I'm going to tell you how this personal situation panned out for me and what I did. Hey everyone, it's your favorite housewife, Izzy. I'm here with my niece, Phoebe. And we are going to continue the subject about losing all of my friends. You guys saw part 1 to this. I had about 5 or 6 other friends that every time we went out to dinner, I would pay the bill. Every time we went anywhere, I was footing the bill. And I was tired of it. Now, I'm not saying I want a group of all rich friends. Well, I am, okay? I want a group of all rich friends, okay? I cannot hang out with poor people anymore, and here is why. And this is not awful. Let's hear me out. I don't want to hang out with poor people anymore because it took me a long time to get where I am. I worked hard, I hiked up that mountain, I made it to my position in life, my financial status, and I just don't want to hang out with people that are less ambitious than me. I'm sorry. And now we're going to go into part 2 of losing all of my friends. I discussed how I lost all of my friends personally, why some friends aren't coming back and some friends have come back. And in recent times, my niece Phoebe has went through a little bit of the same.
Yeah, definitely.
In knowing it's time to clean house. So I wanted to discuss a few things here. I want to talk about how you know when it's time to move on from a friendship. Not to feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
If you're ready to bring certain friends back, learning boundaries and teaching them what capacity they can come back with. And there's a lot to unpack here. But let's start. What's going on?
Well, I really had to clean house this year because I felt like a lot of my friends and I are in very different stages of life. I used to be like super go out every single day kind of girl, and then I had to reel it back in a little because life gets serious, you know.
Because she got her own apartment now and she has to pay rent. So that's what happens when you're adulting in New York.
Yeah, like I have bills to pay, I have responsibilities. And I felt like I really couldn't keep up with them. And I noticed the more I started turning down things like a night out, party, I started getting invited to nothing. So
how about the friends that helped you move? Nobody.
I did have some friends offer, but I feel like nobody really showed up when I needed them to. Like, you know, you have like the friend that's like, oh, if you need help, let me know. But then you have the one like you where you're like, I'm coming over, I'm helping you. And I think that's the difference. I think I had to get rid of a lot of people this year, but I feel like my life is so much better without them. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a void or anything.
So now we're in different chapters of our life. Obviously, she's a little bit older than me. Or at least than my Botox. And this happens at different chapters. So I wanted to like talk about the fact that it will happen to you at different points in your life.
Yeah.
I had so many friends and then I lost them. And then I had so many friends, then I lost them. For me, I felt like the minute I stopped paying the bill for everybody, like cockroaches scattered, these cockroaches scattered.
Yeah,
or
they definitely did.
The minute I asked friends and I was like, well, I'm not speaking to that person. Like, if I'm your friend and I stop speaking to someone, you're not speaking to them either.
No, I agree. Like, I feel like, why? Especially if you only know them through me. Oh, no.
No, when I'm done with you, my friends are done with you as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's like girl code.
No,
like,
no. I had friends that stayed friends with the other friends.
That
one chick stayed friends with Vanessa and they met each other. And she was like, oh no, we ran into each other.
Well, they're not New Yorkers, are they?
No.
We don't do that here.
That's some Florida and West Coast shit.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
But, like, okay, so let's talk about bringing friends back. Sometimes you do bring friends back because they're worth it. But at what capacity do you bring them back?
I definitely think different boundaries have to be set. Like, anytime I've brought a friend back, it's because I knew that we were on the same page in terms of, like, what was acceptable and what wasn't. Because if I had to get rid of you in the first place because you weren't meeting my expectations, then you can't come back and still not meet them.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that. I feel like I brought some friends back, but like I feel like they want to just come back and I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to learn how to compartmentalize people. Like you're this friend, you're that friend, you're that friend.
See, but I don't like that. I really don't. Like, I'm not good at compartmentalizing people because I feel like if you're my friend, you're my friend. And I feel like the problem with compartmentalizing people is that you start to, as you get closer, have the same expectations. So like for Vanessa, for example, it's like she was technically the fun friend. Like she wasn't really adding much to your life. But at the same time, like eventually, because she's just your friend, you expect that like the bare minimum is gonna come out of her, and it's not. And I feel like that was my problem. I had a bunch of fun friends, but then I realized, wait, if I'm not interested in having fun, then there's no one.
Friends. For me, it was more like, I have more money than you guys. I'm sorry, let's just be realistic. And I can afford to do things now that you can. And the more I can afford to do, the more I ended up paying for other people to do.
Right.
So, like,
and the less they started to
even
offer,
the
more they felt entitled to.
Or even being like, hey, I can't afford that place. Let's just pick something a little more budget friendly so I can pay.
Yeah.
No, they would just be gung ho, knowing that they couldn't afford to go to that place. Being like, oh, Izzy will pay for it. Like if that were me and I couldn't afford to go someplace, I'd be like, listen, I really can't afford that place. I want to still go out. Let's pick something like a little less expensive so that way we can all go. Not go to the expensive place and just be like, oh, my credit card got declined.
Yeah, I feel like it's the entitlement. Because honestly, I don't really think you minded until it crossed over to like, oh, now you think that this is how this is gonna go every meal.
Every meal. One of my friends told me, I went out to a meal with a group of these girls and I had left early because I wasn't feeling well. And one of my friends had said, when you left and the check came, these girls were like looking around like how do we split this?
Like, that's crazy.
Like, do we itemize it? Do we split it between us? Like, because I wasn't there to pick it up.
That's crazy. Like, and these are all grown people.
Grown women.
Yeah.
So it's okay to get rid of people and it's okay to bring people back, but you don't think you should compartmentalize. But I think at my age, it's okay to have like some like, okay, I'll call you when I'm bored and need dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
That's compartmentalizing, Phoebe.
But think about it. Like, are you just a fun friend to someone?
I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, you're fun, but like I feel like you bring it all. So why should someone else not have to?
No, I feel like certain people, like if they call me for certain shit, I would say no. No, I would never say no.
I feel like you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I'm learning to say no.
Yeah, that's different. Like I'm not saying you have to show up for everyone at all times, but like I feel like if I'm not the fun friend to someone, I am just the whole package, then why should I just allow them to be just a fun friend? That's how I feel. I know a lot of people feel differently though. Like some people are good at compartmentalizing. I just don't need that. Like I don't need a fun friend.
You don't need D-level friends.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't need that. I'd rather not go out than go out with people I don't really like.
I just don't want people taking advantage of me anymore. And I don't think that they saw it as taking advantage of me. They saw it as like, well, she invited us and she could afford it.
Yeah.
Which is even
But that's where the
worse.
boundaries come in. That's when it's like, okay, this is not gonna work. And you have to start changing something you're doing.
Yes, they didn't even see it as like in any way taking advantage of me.
Yeah. But still, that's out of selfishness. Like if you're not even...
It's not my fault you're poor. Like it's not my fault you don't have ambition and do things.
No.
There are plenty of ways to make money, girls. Your feet, your fanny.
But it is your fault for allowing it.
It's always my fault.
And that's where the boundaries come in, I think. Like knowing when it's time to be like, okay, enough.
Well, I want to hear from you guys. I need in the comments to know when you think it's time to say goodbye to a friend. Like, even if they've been your friend your whole life. I need more discussion on this. I need to know, like, how... Let's say it's your friend for 20 years. Like, how do you say goodbye to a friend and know that it's definite and it's not like a ride or die that you're gonna bring back? So I wanna hear from you. Make sure you're following me, make sure you're subscribed. And once I read some comments, we can go on to part 3. Stay toxic, my friends. So with this person in particular, if you look at like their social media or you look at their life, you're like, wow, they're rolling in it. I mean, private jets, beautiful clothes, amazing life. And then we go on this trip, and I didn't know her very well. She was a friend of a friend. And it was like a $200 boat ride. She was like, no, I can't do this. And then never opened a tab at any of the restaurants we went to, never offered to split dinner. I caught on quickly, and I was just like, we're not doing this. So we covered her, my personal situation, but I will never be inviting them to travel again. And I think going forward, if I'm traveling with anybody, I'm literally going to be like, here is the list of excursions. Here are the cost of excursions. I need to know which ones you'll be doing. And if they're not doing so many of them, I'm just going to be honest and be like, I don't really think that us traveling together is a good idea, because I don't think that, we're on the same budget, and this is my vacation, and I don't want to ruin it because of your budget. And I think that sounds straightforward and mean, but that's at the point I am in my life. Literally to tell people, I'm sorry, you can't afford to do the things I want to do on my free time, so I'm not doing them. And it's not like, no, that's just it. It is okay to say goodbye to people that just can't afford to be in your world anymore. It's okay to cover your friends here and again, but long term, you're going to want to start doing expensive things, and your friends are not going to be able to, and especially with new people. And it's okay to just be honest and be like, look, I'm sorry, I don't want to travel with you, and it is because of money. Don't lie. Tell them the truth. That's where I am. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Stay toxic, my friends.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite housewife, Izzy. Don't forget to subscribe.